Hey guys, I'm Camby-McCaskill, author of Fallow and Her Keepers, and today I'm here with Jody, founder of Help Asheville Bears. And this video is going to be a little different from my other videos. I will warn you that some of the footage on here will be hard to watch, so use discretion. Jody, thank you so much for being here, allowing me to interview you and learn more about the Bears. And today, the viewers are wanting to know a lot about HAB, so I'm just going to go down a list of questions and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
HAB, Help Asheville Bears, how did it get started?
Well, me and my brother used to just watch nature and especially hope for bears to come in here up here at the cabin, and how remote I live. And on August 18th of 2019, a bear we knew very well named Peaches came through. She was a first-time mother of 3, and she came through missing half her front right leg. And that floored me because I'd known this bear for years. She was a very curious bear. She would nurse literally 10 feet from my porch with me sitting there, as long as I didn't make noise or no sudden movements. And she just liked to hang out. She knew it was a safe spot. And when she came in, it floored me. I went and picked up my brother. I was crying. And then we went over our parents later that evening, told them what happened, and we watched on WLOS where another bear missing the opposite limb was shown on WLOS, and it wasn't even as the crow flies a mile from here over that mountain. And that's when our father, Colonel Scotty Morgan, the 8-year POW, said somebody's trapping bears. And he also said it would take rewards to find out who. So what we did is we created the Facebook page thinking we were going to catch a neighborhood trapper, and we uncovered so much more. Now we're up to 34 bears missing limbs. 27 are in this Blue Ridge region, and most of them are right here in Buncombe, Henderson counties. We've uncovered a 3-decade-old family trapping operation that sell their paws and gallbladders for the money on the black market. We have over 61 active investigations on other poaching things as we've grown. There's things like bear bait pens where they'll kill the mother and keep the cub to torment and train their dogs. There's just so much poaching. They'll kill a bear and cut the paws off, take the gallbladder and leave the body. I mean, we've got people busted, and we're going to continue keep getting people busted for this. And when Peaches came in, we got to do it for her and all the other bears. We got to keep fighting. And
just to clarify, these are not hunters that hunt for meat.
No, ma'am.
And eat the meat and use the hide for whatever they use. These are people that are just wanting their paws or their gallbladders, or just wanting to torture these bears.
Correct. We've never gone against legal hunting, never will. We're against poaching and illegal activities, the bear park trade. We've even paid rewards on saving an alligator from the exotic pet trade. It's just about cruelty and doing illegal activities. It's, a poacher ruins it for everybody else. Not only the nature watcher who's just going to sit here and enjoy like we do at the cabin here, but it also ruins it for the hunter who does it right, who waits till the season, who spends his money on that land lease and just does it absolutely proper. And these poachers are taking all the big game. They're just killing as many as they want. They're going, you're only allowed 1 bear on a bear tag. These guys, I know of people killing 65, 100, 150 bears a year. Yeah.
The paws are being used in a soup?
Yeah, they make bear paw soup. They think a lot of things over there will make their manhood better, and that's one of the things on the bear paw soup. The gallbladders they make a medicine out of, which can actually be derived from a plant. If you go to Asia, they're trying to shut down all the bear bile farms. They'll have their bears over there in a small cage where it can never move, turn around, or anything. and they have a tube directly hooked up into its gallbladder, permanently draining the bile its entire lifetime, causing hair loss, anxiety, tooth loss, all sorts of things. And they just do it until the bear dies.
I was researching HAB and bear sanctuaries, and I came across a article from the Asheville Citizen-Times from a wildlife warden, I guess, that said the bears were not being trapped, they were being hit by cars, and that's why they were losing their paws. But you have since debunked that.
Oh yeah, there's no documented bear ever lost a limb from a car. I mean, how do you knock off half a limb surgically and no other damage? It's just asinine. And they, the little girl that wrote that didn't do zero research. I could show you bear sanctuaries all around the world that have three-legged bears because of traps and snare trapping. Mike McIntosh had Trillium up there in Canada that he saved from a snare trap. We have bears in that 34 count that literally still had the trap, whether it be a jaw style or a snare, on their body before the limb loss.
What efforts outside of Help Asheville Bears have been made to actually help the bears here?
Well, we have investigators from retired wildlife and et cetera, that law enforcement, military, that help with our investigations tracking down. HAB provides the rewards on the poaching, different levels of rewards. It can range anywhere from $1,500 to $10,000. And those investigations are sent to the proper authorities so that they can get busted. As far as injured bears, there's just nothing we can do unless the state approves us, gives us a permit for a bear rehab sanctuary. There's a bad need for that. I go on bear calls all the time because I want to make sure these bears aren't suffering. And they are suffering to an extent if they got a broken leg, a broken hip. I got one with a crooked jaw, but he's still able to eat. But all these things could be fixed with a proper bear rehab, which HAB is willing to pay for. North Carolina will not have to do that. We're willing to buy 300 plus acres, bring in the best biologists, the best veterinarians for their care, get these bears healed, and get them back out in the wild. Now, the three-legged bears, that's a whole different subject as far as care. Because what happens with them, you want an animal to be wild, but missing a half a front limb, as you'll see from some of these videos, it's really rough on them, especially because most of them are female, have cubs or have had cubs. Tripod's had 2 sets, Peaches has had a set, and there's 32 other bears. What happens with these three-legged bears as they age, their joints wear out really bad. They'll either start walking upright or they'll start walking on their elbows and maybe even using their nose, like Rose in India. We'll get on that in a little bit. But they're going to need long-term care eventually.
So what's the plan for HAB? Like from startup to 5 years from now to 30 years from now, where will you be located? And you've said 300 acres. How will it start and who will fund it? How will you get the funds?
Luckily, we were blessed early in life, and we have a lot of people that are willing to put money to this. There will be no financial problem doing this. We could go do it right now. If we had the approval, we'd pull the string on some of the properties we've looked at. That's no problem on the money. But we're going to fight for that bear rehab sanctuary. But right now our biggest fight is against Amazon too. They've been the largest supplier of these steel jaw traps and snares for over a decade. We're going to bring them down, make them stop selling the traps. They have removed their bear traps and a lot of the leg holds, but they still have snare accessories and attractants. And we're not going to stop until they remove all those and make recompense by helping these, not just bear rehabs, but animal rehabs all around the world where these traps have done damage. There's three-legged critters everywhere and in care. Even over at the Western North Carolina Nature Center, there's 2 foxes that were escape traps. And they're three-legged foxes. There's 2 of them over there. You know, and there's many animals like this. We've shown elephants, jaguars, bald eagles, owls that have been caught in these traps. So many people's pets. We had a lady in, I think it was Marsh Hill, out that way. Her cat got in a trap just this last year, and we helped her get it to the vet and get its leg amputated. And that was illegal trapping because it was not seasoned for trapping. Some trapping is legal, but trapping bear is highly illegal in any state except Maine. But we got to bring down Amazon. In 2016, Amazon executives were shown one bear cub named Rose that was missing half a limb from a snare trap. Rose had learned to use her nose to walk, and we got videos of that. They saw that one bear cub and removed over 400 items off their platform, but only in India, not the rest of the world. They continued selling, knowing that their stuff they're selling does this. So that's our biggest fight.
What would be the average cost per month to care for these bears? Like, when it becomes a reality, if you could just guesstimate.
I couldn't even begin to guesstimate that, honestly, because we don't know how many of the three-legged bears we would be able to get back in. And if they open up the sanctuaries to hunting like they're talking about, and we're fighting against that too, you know, that means a lot more bears will be killed, and a lot of these three-legged bears are in these sanctuaries or right at the edge of them. You can't tell. This is nothing you can predict. Because you don't know how many injured bears you're going to get. We get a lot of hit by cars here around Asheville because we're such an urban bear area. What I can tell you is, like Mike McIntosh and his wife Ella at Bear With Us up in Canada, they run off a yearly budget of around $150,000, and about $50,000 of that is the vet bills. I don't see how they make it on that, to be honest with you, other than they've dedicated their lives to this for 30 years now. We're not worried. I know our costs will be higher than that, and plus we're going to build the biggest rehab, and it's going to be the best one in the world. We're going to have the best facilities, best equipment. That's not hard to do. We're willing to do that.
So, why do you think you presented this to Asheville and they've denied you?
North Carolina Wildlife.
North Carolina Wildlife. Why?
Yes. They're the only ones that can permit this.
But why do you think they denied you? Just
Well, simply put, they don't like Help Asheville Bears. There's a lot of corruption within North Carolina Wildlife, and we have whistleblowers and more details that we will be releasing very soon. The people of Asheville want it. The people around the country that know about this want it. Around the world, we have followers from all around the world. Last time I spoke at City Council, we were at about 60,000 followers. Now we're over 260,000. The Bears have a voice now, thanks to our community and the followers, and I just hope that North Carolina Wildlife will approve this.
tell us about the sanctuary that you have in mind. A lot of people are wanting to know what the welfare of the bears will be in this sanctuary, so some will not be able to leave the sanctuary per se because they have injuries that are so bad they will be needing care for their entire life.
Correct.
But then there are other bears that will just need sanctuary but not the rest of the help. So how are you going to put both of those aspects in the sanctuary?
Well, it's easy. Every bear rehab does that. A great example again is Mike McIntosh at Bear With Us. They got a few permanent residents that can never be released. You can have rescues from zoos or rescues like from the bears over in Cherokee in those pits. I'd love to do that one day, get those out of there. Now those bears probably can't be put back into the wild, but we can have them a huge section where they can roam about freely and be cared for as needed. The ones that come in injured and are going to be re-released, you have a whole different section. And it depends on the bears, the sex, the age, everything. But there'll be plenty of areas where we'll have it done properly as per the biologist and vets on how you separate them, how they're raised, everything. This is done at every bear rehab there is in the world.
And so as far as security purposes for the bears, let's say someone doesn't like you and they want to come in and hurt the bears, will there be procedures in place that will keep those bears safe and the people working with the bears?
Oh yeah, I mean it's everything will be fenced on that, and security will be definitely a thing. But we're also going to have a lot of cameras up. We've already discussed this. This is not going to be a place to come visit and coddle bears. We want these bears to be wild and get them back out there to the wild. Even the permanent residents, you know, maybe we'll have a way to view them, you know, via cameras or some kind of walkway through the forest like they have in the bear rehabs in Asia. They have tall walkways where people can walk way high above, up in the treetops, and look down and see the little sun bears doing their thing on the properties.
Okay.
There's many ways to do this, but our main thing is that we don't want to be a zoo. We don't want to be a place to come get your picture taken with a bear. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
We want these animals as wild can be and get them back out there, except for the permanent residences, which we'll just care for.
Okay. And so possibly educational classes?
Oh yeah, we're going to do a lot of that this year via video on our page and all. But yeah, I want to do some outreach to schools, teach them young. Bears are nothing to fear. As Mike McIntosh says, the bears will coexist as long as we will. You know, if you're blessed enough to have them come through your yard, then enjoy. You know, if you're going to be late for work, be late for work. Take that extra 2-5 minutes and just enjoy it going through your yard. And because bears are a very special thing in North Carolina.
Are there other bear sanctuaries in North Carolina?
As far as where the bears come and reside and they're taken care of, like what we're trying to do, no.
Okay.
There is, they call sanctuary lands where they're protected. There's no hunting, but they just proposed the G13 bill to hunt those sanctuaries,
Which brings up my next question. Will they be able to do that with you?
No.
No.
That would be our property.
Okay.
They can't hunt on our sanctuary. When they say sanctuary, they mean like Pisgah right here behind us, or the other ones they're talking about, Panthertown and all, and open up those. This is where people go and recreate, hike, all that, which that proposal will ruin.
And again, this is another money question. So let's say that someone wants to donate.
Yeah.
The monies that they donate, will 100% of it go back into HAB?
It goes to HAB. Not one member of HAB takes a penny at all. Never have, never will.
Okay.
We do this entirely voluntarily. We work 7 days a week. I mean, I'm up at 4 in the morning checking the page just because of harassment. And like I've told you, we've been threatened.
So the people want to know, will the vets and the people taking care of the bears be volunteers? Or will they be paid?
I'm sure there'll be some volunteers, but typically, especially on a veterinarian, you know, they're going to need to be paid.
Yeah.
You know, because they're going to have to. I don't think we'll have a permanent resident veterinarian.
Yeah.
It'll be a couple of them that we have arrangements with, and we pay them to come do their thing and rescue, and then we'll have others that'll care for them.
Okay. How many bears do you think could be supported on the sanctuary grounds once it's up and running?
It depends on how much acreage we actually get. I couldn't tell you. It's hard to answer that without knowing the acreage. And then you don't know how many orphan cubs you're going to have each year. You don't know how many yearlings hit by a car you're going to have, or how many of the three-legged bears will become residents, or any other bear. Those things will just have to be adjusted as needed, just like every other bear rehab does.
Well, do you think you'll be able to take injured bears from other states?
That'll depend on North Carolina wildlife. We welcome it. You know, you get a lot of situations out there in other states where they deem a bear to be a nuisance and they'll just go kill it, or it's too friendly and they'll kill it for being too friendly. Well, I challenge any of those states that are doing that to let us have the bears. Let them live in our friendly rehab. We'll take care of them. If we have to buy more property, we have to buy more property. You know, but I mean, 300 plus acres, I can tell you now, is way, like over 5-6 times larger than any bear rehab I know.
Okay.
So.
And you're on YouTube?
We're soon to be.
Okay. And you are on Facebook?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We're on Facebook. We do have an Instagram and whatnot, but that's being modified, and even our website is going to be revamped in about a week or so.
Is there anything else that you want the viewers to know about HAB or the Bears?
HAB is entirely volunteer. We need followers to the page to give the Bears a voice. We'd love for people to sign the Amazon petition to ban Amazon from selling these traps and attractants, and make recompense to all these rehabs, not just bear rehabs, all the animal rehabs where they're taking care of animals that have been injured by traps. It's if you just Google it, there's so many, so many people's pets have been caught in these. People should call North Carolina Wildlife, the wildlife commissioners, your legislatures, try to get approval for this rehab. That's what we ask. The financial donations are awesome, but the word of mouth and making this happen is way more important.
Burroology?
Burroology, that's the museum down in Plymouth, North Carolina, run by Tom Harrison, an awesome person. He tries to educate people about bears. He also throws the North Carolina Bear Festival, which is the first weekend of June every year. Awesome time, voted the best family-friendly festival in the South. They have music, they have food, they have events for the kids, all sorts of events for the kids. And this year they're going to have an air show.
Really?
Yeah.
Have to check that out.
We will be there. And I have other bear warriors, protectors from different groups like ours from around the country coming. Mm-hmm. We'll see who's able to attend, but lots of people are wanting to come. It's an awesome time.
So tell me about this little gal.
That is our stuffed three-legged bear modeled after Peaches, the very first bear that walked through here missing a limb, that made us aware of all these atrocities and how bad poaching in the park trade is. And we had those made to bring about awareness on what's going on and help us take down Amazon and the trapping industry.
So how could viewers get their own?
You can order them right off the Facebook page. Mm-hmm. We have plenty of them, and yeah, they're kind of cool. Everybody loves them.
Cute.
I even gave a big case of them just yesterday to Asheville Police Department to give out to any, say a kid's gone through a traumatic thing. Well, this bear has too right here.
Yeah.
So here, give them a stuffed bear, and I'd like to give them more if, I could get a hold of Chief Zach.
Okay, so we also have these. I don't know if you can see that, but these are calendars that you guys have made.
Yep.
Tell us about those.
We had those made last year. They did get to us a little late, so we sold them up until the end of last year. Right now, we're actually giving them away. A wonderful sponsor bought a whole bunch of them and asked for them to be given out, mm-hmm. and to try to bring followers to the page to give these animals a voice. These are high-quality calendars, not the little cheapo freebies you get, at banks or your hardware store. These are nice print stock. They're 12 by 12, larger than the most calendars, and they're done by the best black bear photographer, I think, in the world, John Phillips of J&G Photos, and you can find them on Facebook as well. And these are all local bears. This isn't just, we want to represent our local bears, and none of these are missing limbs. We didn't want to do that kind of calendar. We wanted a nice happy calendar for everybody to have. And in a lot of these pictures, like that one you can kind of see, but a lot of these cubs you can still see their blue eyes, because they're actually born with blue eyes, and that'll change back to brown. I thank you for doing this. Our main point is to get out the awareness, to coexist with the black bears, because they are so special. They were just named North Carolina State Mammal. We can coexist. The bears will if we will. Also, we want to bring down Amazon. Please sign the petition. Follow the page. Share it as much as you can. It's the community. It's our followers. You guys are the heroes, or can be the heroes, for these black bears. Call and email legislatures in North Carolina Wildlife. Tell them HAB needs approved for the rehab. So we can save bears instead of, when I go out on these calls when the bears are on the move, so many times I'm having to take pictures or film or put up trail cams, and you got a cub or a yearling with a broken hip or leg or a foot caught totally sideways, and it just hurts that we can't do anything. We want to do something about that, and again, it's not about us doing it. We'll bring in the right people, the right veterinarians, and I've already talked to multiple of those biologists. Maybe Colleen will leave North Carolina Wildlife and come save bears with us.
So thank you so much for letting me talk to you and learning about the bears. And if you guys want any of this cool stuff, I will have the links for you to follow below the video, contact information, YouTube channel, everything you could need for bears.
Awesome.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.